Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This one is going to be at the computer today. I don't really feel like clearing out my tabletop, cleaning everything and making everything look pretty and having to edit everything, so it's going to be straightforward. Plus we have this nice Jarvis protocol app to sort of share my roster, and that is what we are doing today. Is this becoming a Marvel Crisis Protocol channel? I don't know, but thank you to everyone who's actually checked out my last video, especially from the Marvel Crisis Protocol community. Really do appreciate the support on that one. Did not expect such a warm reception after such a long hiatus for making videos, but we are looking forward to making some more for you. Today I want to go over my Avengers roster. I sort of want to just put it out there, sort of get people's thoughts on it. I'm still fairly new to the game, but I do love theory crafting. I do love building and stuff like that. You know, I come up from a Magic the Gathering background, so, you know, expressing myself through deck building, things like that. You know, this is definitely what one of the main things that attracted me to Marvel Crisis Protocol is that. But I do have a pretty strong tabletop miniature skirmish background, being a pretty long time Warhammer Kill Team player, and sort of getting first place in some tournaments on that scene. And I would say I'm a pretty above average player on that game. So I'm coming into this from sort of a semi-competitive mindset. You know, I'm definitely mainly just playing with my friends. I am looking to play more in the tabletop simulator scene and maybe join one of the leagues when I feel ready for that. And who knows, maybe if there's a local tournament near me in person, maybe I'll even hit that up. But I mainly just I'm playing with my friends, so I'm not looking to have the most meta list. Even if I was going to be doing tournament stuff, I'm going to be running this list. I'm going to be running lists that I want to play, and I could care less about the meta stuff, really. But I definitely love hearing people's thoughts, and I still love knowing what the meta is and the different strategies and stuff like that. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. So this is my block and bash Avengers list. So I wanted to build sort of an attrition-based list, but I sort of wanted to do it in a little bit of a different way. I didn't want to sort of have glass cannons like Black Order does. I wanted to be sort of more of a bruiser feel, like the feeling of sort of more tankier characters that can take a lot of hits, but also still dish out some damage. And that is sort of why I went with Captain America First Avenger, but also because I had the starter set, I had this leader anyway, so it was really, really nice there. But also really, really just love his ability. I mean, he just sort of goes along that game plan. He's pretty defensive himself with perfect block, and his injured side being extremely tanky, being able to count blanks as successes on defensive rolls. But also, he just naturally makes your whole squad more offensive because you're able to get triggers with his leadership ability, in addition to or if you just need that extra point of damage, I mean, that's also going to happen. And there's a lot of times where sometimes you just need that extra point of damage and you just get things off very, very consistently. And it's it's not difficult to get hit results on your attack dice, being able to have, you know, because there's two hit faces on the dice. So it's pretty easy to get. There's only been like a rare instance where I feel like I haven't got that trigger off. But also playing with him, he actually can dish out a lot of damage over the course of the field. Like Brooklyn Brawler and Shield Bounce is just super, super good with his triggers, just getting free attacks and stuff like that. It's just super, super fun to do. It's fairly flexible with the charge, being able to get some decent action economy. So overall, just A+ leader, absolutely love it. And that's sort of the main reason why I wanted to run Avengers. But also the main reason why I wanted to run Avengers is because I wanted to run Hulkbuster, because I freaking love Hulkbuster's model. It's probably my favorite model in the game from what I saw. It's going to be a pain in the ass to paint. I know I'm going to hate painting it because he's just such a large model and I don't have an airbrush, but he's just super, super cool. I love how the action or have the models posed and stuff like that, but also I think it's just a really, really great model. Obviously I know he's not, I think he's arguably the worst sixth threat in the game. And looking at the other six threats, yes, I can probably agree with that. But at the same time, he can still dish out a decent amount of damage. He does have a little bit amount of control to him, which is sort of what some of my other characters don't have. He does have a hit and run. He's got a damage reduction, so it's sort of, again, going along that tanky game plan. Gets extra power. And yeah, still has a lot of health to chew through. So it's very, very nice. So just super, super fun. And he also still has a relevant trigger that we can get with Captain America's leadership ability. And in the rare instance, I do want to run his leadership ability over Captain America's, but still run Avengers. That is also something that we can go along. And even his ability sort of goes along our game plan of just being able to out-survive our opponent, where they have to nickel and dime us in damage, where we can punch through and do a lot more to them. And then also I wanted to run Cable because he is also an extremely cool model. Really, really love his model. But also, he's just super, super strong. I feel like, I mean, his telekinetic shield is the main ability that drew me into him because, again, he sort of goes along that game plan of giving people defense dice and just making them a lot tankier. Him with Captain America is absolutely insane, being able to give Captain America 2 defense dice on top of his own 2 defense dice. So Captain America running like 8 defense dice against physical attacks and stuff like that definitely makes my friends not too happy with him. But he's got a throw, he's got a free movement. He's got 5 range attack, which is another one of the main reasons why is I wanted a couple of characters that could run on the back line in case we need to leave someone on the back line to secure an objective. He's got a relevant trigger. But in a scrum, he can also use his Aksani Sun and get some damage done that way. So very, very nice. Love the model. The only sort of meta pick that I have is Beta Ray Bill here. But I picked him even before I knew he was like sort of a meta pick, I guess. But looking at his abilities, I wasn't really surprised just because I don't know how this is a 4 threat looking at other characters in the game. He's got literally everything. He's got extra power, 3 immunities. He can throw train features or characters. I mean, even Hulkbuster can't even throw a freaking terrain piece or terrain piece and character. He either has to throw a character with his meteor punch or throw a terrain piece with Now I'm Mad. Beta Ray Bill just sort of says screw that and can sort of do a little bit of everything, which is a little bit crazy. He's also got a damage reduction that's not a minimum to 1. Got really great triggers with status effects. He's got a 4-4-3 where Hulkbuster is 4-3-3. Why Hulkbuster doesn't have 4 defense energy, I don't understand. Would be a nice buff. But yeah, I don't really know how this character hasn't been nerfed yet, to be honest. But I'm not complaining. But yeah, super, super fun model, just extremely strong. Like my core is pretty much always taking Captain America and Beta Ray Bill in pretty much any game. We have Winter Soldier Operative, James Bucky Barnes. Again, he's always in the starter set, so I wanted to include him, but also I do think he's just got really strong triggers. Again, going along with Captain America's game plan, he is a really sort of flexible character. He's got a hit and run. He's got a interesting ability with Killbox, being able to sort of deny opponents terrain to throw at us, and also get damage in, which is great. He can even brawl a little bit in the close range with his Spetsnaz training, but he also has stealth too, so he can do, again, he's got a little bit, he's very, very flexible, and that sort of, again, sort of goes along. I think the Avengers game plan is sort of, they're sort of jack of all trades, master of none, which is really, really great. Love Bucky. And again, just like Cable, he's my other sort of backline 5 range gunner. And we got Deadpool. Deadpool is just a really, really fun model. I also wanted to get him because he comes with a terrain piece, which is excellent. Just sort of cost effective, I guess, for a new player. But I found out he's just extremely good. I mean, having 2 abilities that have extra free attacks means with Captain America's leadership ability, we're getting these off at a decently consistent rate. So being able to stab, having 2 attacks that cost 0, but doing like 10 dice or 8 dice total in an attack is absolutely insane. But also he is a great sort of duelist character where if need a one-on-one on a point, he is going to be decent at that thanks to his healing factor. I know karate. He can't be pushed by or advanced by mystic stuff, and he can force them to lose some power. So again, he's got a little bit of everything going on. But also, biggest thing is he gets even just better on his injured side. Being able to always count as healthy for contesting objectives, and then also his maximum effort ability that gets changed from his Dudenum poke is extremely strong. This actually ended up killing like 2 characters of my friends because he accidentally grouped them up, and it was able to finish them off with this ability. So this is a really, really fun ability. Again, he's just super, super fun and super, super good. Domino came along with Cable, so I decided to use her, but found out she is also just an extremely, extremely strong 3 threat. I mean, things tend to go my way is a really, really annoying ability for my friends. They really, really hate that one. But also probability manipulation means we can just punch extremely hard when we have excess power to deal with. And again, she's got very easy triggers to do that we can pretty much always guarantee with Captain America's ability. Lucky Shot is great against one of my friends is also playing Beta Ray Bill, so playing against those brawlers where we want to damage them, but we also don't want to give them a lot of power where we can use a lot of their superpowers like throwing stuff. Lucky Shot is extremely nice for that. But yeah, can incinerate, can do AoE damage. Again, her rapid fire is also, just having another rapid fire is also good. Just again, excellent 3-threat. Taskmaster is one that I actually have not played with yet. This is just a recent addition. I used to have a Black Panther in this spot. Again, I wanted another duelist to sort of contest if we have to go a little bit wider on mission objectives and having just sort of those one-on-one situations. Taskmaster, I was like, oh yeah, I should have included this from the get-go. Taskmaster seems like a really, really fun model and one of the best 1v1 models at that 3-threat level. Also, Rogue Agent is nice just to sort of make it more consistent when we just want to make sure we have that Avengers affiliation. But yeah, Martial Artist, again, going along with my theme of being able to take a lot of hits, and then also intuitive pattern recognition is also excellent as well in that sense. So yeah, very, very tough to take down, I think, in the melee situation. And then also it's nice going along with Captain America, having just another shield throw. Again, shield throw and a bleed that we're going to be getting pretty much every single time with Captain America's leadership ability. Means we can spread out a lot of damage as well. Because again, we want to attrition out our opponent in the sense of just out surviving them and trading blows that way. But yeah, seems really, really fun. Heimdall, again, another character I haven't used yet, but I mainly just as a flex pick if I need sort of a little bit more movement and need to chase down my opponent's characters a little bit more. Most of my friends are playing sort of attrition-based teams, so we're always just sort of headbutting anyways. But it is going to be nice in those instances where I do play against, like, I don't know, I guess like Web Warriors or some team that really wants to run around, I guess. Guardian of the Bifrost, being able to reposition my own guys and get them in better positions or just get them into more defensive positions, save them, for example, is always nice. And All-Seeing Eyes is great. Again, sort of getting the re-rolls to make our characters more defensive. The nice thing about those two abilities is they are on 3 and 4 range, so they're very supportive, but you can do them at a pretty long range. Yeah, and as Guardian, extra power, always nice. Last but not least, we have Okoye. Okoye is absolutely fantastic. A great 2-threat bodyguard. I love it. My friends absolutely hate it, especially when my team is already fairly tanky. They absolutely hate bodyguard. So it's always nice against those really, really strong attacks against, like, because one of my friends is playing Black Order, so having his Black Order character come up and try to kill, like, Cable, for example, one of the main threats on my team, having Okoye just sort of take the hit and still potentially survive thanks to her natural tankiness is always nice. So really, really love this character. Great combination with Cable, being able to bodyguard for Cable and also get his 2 extra defense dice. Yeah, insane survivability. Like rolling 5 defense dice with Martial Artist active is very, very difficult to break through. And that's it for my characters. I really, really love my characters. I think I'm pretty happy with the list right now, even though there's some characters I still have yet to play with. The ones that I have played with are super, super fun, and just, again, they all sort of follow along that game plan of having some good triggers to go along with Captain America's ability. They all can dish out a decent amount of damage, but also they're just great survivors. I think they're all really, really great survive capabilities. And they all sort of have some aspect that sort of falls in line with that. All right, in terms of team tactics cards, for restricted cards, I have Brace for Impact because it's Brace for Impact and Patch Up. I might swap Brace for Impact out. One of my friends is playing Beta Ray Bill, and a couple of my friends have some decently throwing characters, but I might want to try to experiment with stuff because it doesn't always come up. So yeah, we'll see, but it is just extremely good. And same with Patch Up. Patch Up again makes my already decently surviving characters even harder to kill. Many times have like my key characters like Captain America or Cable have gone to like 1 health, and I just heal them back to full, and that's after like tons and tons of attacks from my friends, and they get very, very upset. Next up we have Avengers Assemble. I have yet to actually play with this card. I know it's extremely strong, but I just haven't had the chance to really make the full use out of it. But it's just seems really, really good. Reposition, play more offensively, play more defensively with it. It's just a very, very flexible card, just like the Avengers. Battle Plan I really, really liked. Just being able to get a ton of value because we're generally grouped up with a lot of my team. Makes us just a lot tankier. Heals a little bit, can get rid of really annoying status effects like stun on Beta Ray Bill, for example, or just being able to reposition so we can like make sure we get like a bodyguard off, for example, with Okoye. So a lot of cool stuff there. Helios Laser Bombardment when we're running Hulkbuster. Main reason why I included this because my opponent, one of my friends, is playing Black Order with Thanos. I just wanted this card to kill Thanos with. I did roll 19 dice into Thanos and still didn't kill him, so it's not guaranteed, but it is very, very fun to use. It is also just sort of a fun card to have, but it is very much like, okay, if I'm playing against a team that I just need to make sure to have a time where I can just delete a character, well, I can just delete a character. And, a minor thing is we do have a trigger on there for Captain America's leadership ability. We then have a recalibration matrix. This card has saved my ass. It's just in a game where variance is very, very high and there's like a lot of spikes that can just sort of mean the difference between losing or killing a model. Having a recalibration matrix just to make sure things set more on an average level and reset that is very, very nice. My opponent had one of my friends had an incredible roll. I rolled 0 defense blocks. Very, very fun to just play recalibration matrix and watch him roll all misses and have him get upset. So yeah, very, very fun card. Doesn't always work, and sometimes they just get another really, really great roll, but again, it sort of just makes the averages more apparent. Joint effort. I really like this card. This card, especially when we have very, very easy triggers and we have quite a few characters with double attack abilities like Captain America's shield bounce, Deadpool's rapid fire, Domino's rapid fire, etc., etc. Being able to, and like we have quite a few melee characters or close range characters, being able to get 2, potentially 4 extra dice on all those attacks means we're usually, more often than not, going to delete that model that we're targeting. So very, very strong card, I think, in our team. Very, very fun to use as well. Reserve members I've recently just put in, but I've absolutely loved it. Mainly put it on Okoye because Okoye is pretty much always going to be bodyguarding either Captain America or Cable, and the nice thing is they're both leaders, so it's always going to be on. It just makes her a little bit more offensive when it needs to be, but also, again, adds to that sort of more defensive capability. It's a really, really nice getting this alongside Cable's extra dice and having 6 defense dice on a 2 threat with Okoye. Again, makes her very, very easy to survive, but it's just very, very flexible. We do have quite a few non-Avengers characters, so we can throw it on like Taskmaster, Domino, and Heimdall, for example, if we need to. So again, very, very flexible. Just extra free dice is just very, very nice. Heavy firepower is one that I'm not quite sure about. I mainly included it because we do have quite a few characters with range 4 or 5 weapons and attacks, but it's not like joint effort where you get the extra dice on all the attack rolls. And also, it just doesn't always come up because I usually do have someone within 3 of my opponent that's, trying to kill them. But I think it's more of a very rare situation card. Feel free to let me know if there's another card that I should add into this roster because I'm still not quite sure about heavy firepower. And then I got Chimichangas because it's just a very, very fun card. Again, still goes along the theme of trying to make my characters more survivable, tankier. It makes Deadpool a lot more annoying, effectively giving him healing factor 3, but also just being able to remove special abilities and the benefit of, even if he goes down, maybe one of my other characters can pick it up and become even more tanky as well. Sure, my opponent can also pick it up, but we'll, of course, just have to make sure that doesn't happen and just make sure to play around that. In terms of crisis cards, we have Gamma Wave sweeps across Midwest. Goes along the game plan of we can just generally out-survive our opponent's characters, so even if we take a little bit of damage, that's perfectly fine, but we also have some characters, a decent amount of characters that can push or displace our opponent. Hulkbuster is great for this, just having a guaranteed push, for example, and also potential to throw. So it's very, very nice there. We have Infinity Formula goes missing. We're a pretty power-hungry team, I found. Even though we do have some characters that get extra power, getting even more power is always nice. So yeah, pretty straightforward there. Superpowered Scoundrels form Sinister Syndicate. This is nice because it's not like a super wide thing. It still keeps everything fairly centered on the board, but also, again, adds survivability against gunline opponents. Because we don't have like a ton of long range stuff, like a ton of 5-threat stuff or 5-range stuff. I am playing against, one of my friends is playing Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. So against them, having this would be sort of nice just to get extra cover. Again, make us more survivable, which is always great. And it just having extra dice to make sure we can turn those blanks or failures into cover with like Cable and Captain America's extra dice or Taskmaster's extra dice. Makes that a lot more relevant. For extracts, we have Research Station Attacked. Again, fairly slow scoring, a little bit more attrition based, but again, we don't mind playing that center game and just being in a scrum in the center, and we can slowly push up the board and potentially score more if we need to once we start clearing out big threats. Also got Alien Ship Crashes Downtown. We don't mind taking a little bit of chip damage here and there, but it's a lot more detrimental to our opponent. And we have the ability to sort of like pick up the points and then just dive into our opponent's groups and potentially do a lot more damage that way and do a lot more AoE damage. So we don't really mind that. We have Alien, and then last but not least, we have Fear Grips World as Worthy Terrorized Cities. This is probably like one of the most common extracts, but I think it's just because it's really, really fun to play with. I mean, everyone loves rolling extra attack dice. And again, we are still leaning more towards an attrition game plan. So having extra dice to be a little bit more offensive that way. More attack dice means easier chance to get triggers. Pretty straightforward there. Yeah, that is my roster. That is all my picks. That's generally sort of the vibe I'm going with my team and sort of my thoughts behind the strategy. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm not a competitive player. I'm not super well versed in the game yet, but I think my decision making is fairly sound. I'm pretty happy with how this list has turned out, and I'm very happy with just the models in general. They're all super, super cool. I love everything that each one of them does. They all feel unique, but they all sort of fall into that bruiser game plan of outlasting our opponents. We're able to trade blows, I think, more effectively than some other teams out there. So yeah, really, really love the Avengers. I am looking potentially at maybe even including a little bit more Asgardian in there, because I know the new Asgardian box came out. But yeah, but that's going to do it for this video. Super, super straightforward, simple one. It's nice. It's going to be nice not having to edit and record B-roll and stuff like that. But yeah, I think in the future, I think next video will probably be my how to play video on Marvel Crisis Protocol, because I do want to get that out there on the channel, because I love teaching players games that I'm in love with, and I'm definitely in love with this one. So be on the lookout for that one. That one I definitely am going to put a lot more effort into, so that one probably won't be out for a while. Maybe I'll record some stuff in between, just some like general board game gameplay videos. You probably won't expect any battle reports though on this channel, just because I don't think my friends are going to be the type to sort of get in front of the camera and stuff like that. Plus, I'm really just there to play with my friends. I'm not looking to sort of turn this into a battle reports channel or anything. But if I do start playing on the tabletop simulator stuff, maybe I'll start recording some of those games and I'll upload those on the channel instead. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you then.